Hey, Anna here, and this is a bit of analysis from what I saw happen in this last week. It was the Zwift Racing League, 2 laps of the Harrogate circuit, 3 laps if you were in the Prem division. I de-essed for our Prem team, raced the Americas East, and then commentated the APAC division. So saw a lot happening in this race. To be honest, most of it happened the way I thought, which was a race of attrition, kind of people just trying to drop riders on that KOM, and then kind of come to the finish with a bit of a bunch like we see here of around 12 to 13 riders, and then sort of have a sprint effort up that, what was a tricky sprint in the end. But something happened a little bit different in the APAC Division 1 Men's A category, and I think this is a good indication of potentially what people could do leading into the last 4 races of the season. Is what's happening is teams are sort of dominating the league. So in this case, we've got DPAC Elite, who are in the sort of white and black, and you've got the orange of Beast Mode. And then you also had some World Elite Zwifter riders there in the yellow. But what has happened is, I think because of this, it's easier for teams that aren't in that sort of vying for the top position to really do some cool attacks, because the other teams will be looking at each other and really just concerned about the competition in the league. So this is something, they've just come through that sprint. DPAC again and Beast Mode are doing really well in the standings of this race, but you do have a rider here and he's in the stripy red and black kit, and he decides to go for an early breakaway. That's Hashimoto. But what's interesting is not the fact he broke away. I mean, I've done a video already on breakaways and what does and doesn't work, but this kind of changed this up a bit, because what happened was he had the breakaway. It's around this right hand corner, kicks up to 4%. It's about 800 meters ish from the line, and you can just see here he starts to break away. So this is Hashimoto up near the front on that pink Tron and the red and black kit. Fashion choice there, I'm not sure about a red and then a pink bike, but anyways, he has broken away here. At the moment he's riding about 6.5. He pushes that up to around 8. You've got O'Connell from WTRL and 6.4, and then the others, sort of pushing up this hill, but Hashimoto's definitely got a bit of a kick on the others. And what happens next, I think, is really interesting. So he gets this little push. He only really gets 1 or 2 seconds on the rest of the group. Yeah, they've got about 800 meters to go here. So it's a pretty risky attack as we see it close up here. The group is right there. No one bridges this. So you've got an Evo rider who's on the front pulling up. I think what the others are doing, you can see the DPAC Elite and the Beast Mode, they're just sitting behind that rider. They're just waiting for them to pull him up. Then they kind of realize, like, I don't think he's going to pull him up. So Beast Mode goes on to the front. Then a DPAC Elite rider goes on to the front. Hashimoto sees that, drops down to 2 seconds. He pushes up again to 8.3 watts per kg. And he's already up to 2 seconds, 3 seconds on some of the other riders. You can see there the pack is really drifting at the back. But again, they're not sort of looking too panicky. Hashimoto still sitting up here, 8.5 watts per kg. You've got a WTRL rider on the front at 2.6, an Evo rider at 4.5. Another World Elite Zwift rider at 4.7. And then finally, we have the riders from the top teams here. We've got Bevan, who's an amazing sprinter from DPAC. We've got a Beast Mode rider. So they're sort of riding at, 3 down in the pack, but they're 3 seconds behind. So they're not really doing the work to chase this down. I think they're just trying to rely on other teams to chase it down and save their legs for the sprint, which is fine. But the problem is now they've all cancelled each other out. Hashimoto pushes up this climb. No power up used yet, so obviously he's saving it. Everyone's got a power up here. The team behind now, 4 seconds back. And this is when I realized I think he's going to win this race. And even now, you can see the sprint starting to happen from behind. Bevan going at 10.5. You can see all those orange numbers being dropped. But Hashimoto he's only going 8 watts a kg versus a sort of 9, 8. They get within 2 seconds. But really, they've just absolutely let this go because they're all looking at each other, and maybe they're just too exhausted. But they should have saved some sprinters. I know they had some really quick sprinters in there. But this is what can happen if you're riding for a team that's not vying for that top position. You can make cool little getaways like this and actually make them stick, because the others may not work together at all. So you can see the sprint happening behind Hashimoto. Right there, they get on them at the end. But yeah, that's a cool thing I'm kind of seeing at the moment, is smaller teams putting up riders on the front and sneakily getting away as the other teams look around at each other. So give that a try next week in your races. See ya.